Hey, what's up guys? If you may know who my name is the Freedom Bears, and they got a lot of new changes that came in with the Preseason 3, so let's get straight into it. That's not my real voice, and let's continue. Basically, what they did with Preseason 3 was they changed everything about the damn game, and they wanted to make it, like all games usually do, they just want to make it less generic and more unique to your kind of playstyle, and I think they did a pretty good job this time. As you may know, they customized it into they categorized it into basically three, really, like usually what they always do is put it into three categories. Usually what I see is items being changed, jungle being changed, small champion rebalancing, and, you know, those masteries and stuff. But they really focused on items, and they really focused on jungle this time. And I can't say that they didn't focus on masteries, because they did, but they didn't really have to put that much work into masteries. That was an easy change, and I think that they finally incorporated a lot of the things that they wanted to actually do. And just, you know, like, there was a lot of stuff that Riot probably wasn't happy with about how all the champions were always built in particular ways, and this is how you played, that's it. And I don't know if they were, it kind of gets annoying after a while if you're just playing one particular playstyle and you never really try anything else out. It probably gets pretty old pretty quickly. So they basically really revamped how the masteries, how people play and how people put their points in the masteries, and they made it a lot more unique than I thought that they would have. And let's continue on. So basically, first off, what I want to talk about is the new UI, as you guys may notice, which is really pretty much a lot cleaner than the old one, and I think I like it a lot. Actually, the scoreboard's nice and new. The item store is nice and new. They have two categories basically for it. It has the recommended set, and it basically just goes down. If you're a noob, I'm just kidding, but if you're a noob, nope, I'm just kidding still, it just has the recommended set, and you can buy it if you're a noob. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, they changed that a lot, and they switched into the other category, which was all the items, and you can just switch between those two, and you can see what Riot wants you to build, and a lot of people that use this champion build with this champion, you can just customize the shit out of it. But they still have the recommended set, so you can customize the shit out of it. You can go with the recommended set, you can play generically, you can play however unique you really want to play now, and I think it's going to be basically a big-ass experiment just to see how many people actually use all of these new items and stuff, just because there's so many new usage abilities on a lot of the items as well, and a lot of UI changes have been made, so who knows what people are going to do. And I think it's just basically a big experiment right now, and it's all up in the air. And overall, I like the UI. Kind of got off topic there for a little bit on the items and stuff, which I will be getting into momentarily. And just overall, the UI is a lot different, and so let's see how that one works out. I think I like it a lot, and I think it's a lot more clean. So let's continue on to the items. This is the big one. This is always a big one for Riot. I think this time they really thought like we weren't putting enough effort into giving people like what they actually wanted overall, like how many, the amount of variety. Like they'd always be like, yeah, we're trying to increase variety. I don't think that they ever put enough, just enough into that, because they'd only a few pieces or a few things would be changed. Not like this. They really put a lot into it, and especially now with the new UI, you can pick and choose what you want to be or how you want to play your champion, and there's a lot more ways that you can play your champion just because the new items, and there's a lot of new usage abilities on the items, which I think that that's going to incorporate a new type of just how you build your champion. If you want the usage abilities, or if you want to actually play, like if you want to play your character normally, or if you want to like build it off of a few of the usage abilities and maybe mix in a few of the unique passives and all that stuff and see what happens with that. But there's a lot of new variety. I think that they did a really good job on, especially the variety which they were focusing on. And I think that they really strayed away from the generic builds, and hopefully people try this out and people say, yeah, I like this build, I like this build. As you know, there will be builds that will be better than the previous ones, but I think that there won't be a particular, like, hands down, this is the best build, kind of like there is right now with a lot of champions, like a lot of really generic builds with champions like AD carries just stacking Phantom Dancers, and hopefully there's some of this more unique stuff that people will actually take into account and be like, yeah, I'll use that, or yeah, I'll buy that, and yeah, I'll try this out. Instead of like, yeah, I just gotta wait and get my money for the Phantom Dancer. And basically, that leads into the next point, which they kind of nerfed the Phantom Dancer. They kind of nerfed movement speed a little bit. Just because the Phantom Dancer was like, if you were an AD carry, that was the thing to have. They kind of nerfed the movement speed on it, and really, it's really gonna suck, because, yeah, movement speed as an AD carry or just anything. Like, how are you going to get to that target? And I think that I haven't checked out all the new items, but I'm pretty sure that there are some new items that actually increase your movement speed a lot more, and I think that's what they're trying to, like, bait you into, is if you're like, hey, I'm an AD, I think that they're trying to, like, bait you into buying these new items and see how you like them out and check them out just because they have the movement speed, and plus, you'd be like, I'd never buy that if that didn't have movement speed. Maybe you might actually come to enjoy the fact that the item is just a good item overall, even with the movement speed. And it really doesn't matter anymore about just stacking like a bunch of these one particular set items. And I know I'm playing pretty generically with Rise and stuff, just because this is how I like to play him, but I'm sure as I start actually getting into this preseason crap that I will eventually get into a lot of the stuff, a lot of the new stuff especially, and check it all out and see how I like everything, and eventually just pick and choose what and how I want to play my champion, or I can always mix it up and try a bunch of other cool stuff that's come out. And so anyways, let's continue on. Don't want to get too much into how much I'm getting going over all the new stuff. They changed the wording on a few items, especially the Ninja Tabby, which was kind of confusing for newer people to the game. It was kind of confusing to them, and they kind of changed the wording on a few different items. Ninja Tabby is one of the ones that I saw, and they basically just wanted to make it easier. Also, as well, another big item change is the new upgrades that you can actually get for the boots, and those are pretty big upgrade changes, and they really bring into the factor of how you want to play. I think there's about 5 or 6 of them, and they all have different movement speed characteristics. You know, like one will be like you get this much movement speed if you're at full health at the base and for like 8 seconds and it drains down, or you get just flat 16 more movement speed. And they basically changed that off a lot, so I don't want to stick on items the whole entire time. I gotta move into the jungle and the Masteries real quick. And basically, what they did with the jungle is they really tried to make it a lot more pressure off the lanes, and actually have to the point where people actually will win or lose in their lane instead of having a jungle come down and gank, because I know that is really goddamn annoying. People do it all the time to me, and it's really annoying. And if you have a good head start on them by yourself, the jungle comes down, ganks you a few times, and your shit's done. They basically added a lot more approaches to handling the jungle. They added Hunter's Machete and Spirit Stones, which are basically jungle crap, which makes your jungle pretty effective. And yeah, so anyways, gotta go into Masteries real quick. The video is about to go end. So basically what they did with Masteries is what they always do with Masteries. They try and get you to go into the support tree and the defensive tree, but you're like, no, I want to play in the offensive tree. And then they're like, oh, but we got all this cool stuff in the support and the defensive tree. And you're like, oh, and then you go into those trees, and then you're like, okay. But actually, now this time it's a little bit more effective, and people actually want to be using it. So I don't know, I haven't checked it all out yet, and I will be checking out the defensive and the support trees, and actually be making a few videos on how I think of the new trees and how they actually affect how the game plays. And overall, that was basically all the changes that they did, which were not that generic, but somewhat generic, but pretty awesome, but pretty not. But anyways, peace out guys, my name's Freedom Bear.